Does the art world need blockchain? Well, Carrie Eldridge is here with me today, and she's the CEO of ATO Gallery and Online Gallery. And she believes that blockchain technology can actually help raise capital for artists and also get more collectors to get into fine art. Carrie, just to start off, you've come all the way here from New York, but I want to understand, you're embedded in the art world. When you talk to gallerists, collectors, do they really understand blockchain technology and how it could really play a role in their everyday life?
So collectors, yes. Galleries, we're still working on that. Because the value proposition to collectors is very clear, you know, especially if I'm in their home or something and I point out a piece of art and I say, this is a wonderful piece of art. Do you know how much it's worth right now, today? And they say, no, absolutely not. I have to hire someone, I have to pay money to an auction house or an expert to come. Several weeks later, they'll give me a value. And I say, well, with our platform, you can know at any moment, just like if you were to look up the value of your car, you would know in an instant how much your artwork is worth right now.
Now, I'm only asking this because it really impacts the business model that you have, which is for ATO Gallery, trying to get more people into the space, raising more money to fund the career of an artist.
Right.
Maybe can you walk us through that?
Right. So we started with a financial model of understanding how much is an artist worth. What is their brand value? What is the value of not only their artwork, but why do certain artists' values increase? You know, we compared hundreds of artists that went to the same universities, that had kind of the same career trajectories expected, but then their values are vastly different. And so I wanted to know why, and so we did a massive amount of financial analysis on artists themselves. We've partnered with some incredible universities and economic research firms like Prism Group, which most of them, the founder, they're all, you know, all Harvard-educated economic scientists, I would call them. And we decided that financial modeling needs to be applied to this. We can apply it. And so from there, we analyze, almost like an investment bank analyzes how much a stock should be when they issue the amount. We applied that logic and that modeling to the art world.
So tell me, how do you step-by-step analyze the value of an artist's career? Because there are so many maybes and what-ifs. Age could be a concern, their style of work. So how do you really assess that?
So that's our secret sauce and our IP.
Maybe if you could give us a few ingredients of that secret sauce.
So some of the ingredients are absolutely, what is their current value selling at? What was their initial value? What shows have they done? What fairs have they gone to? Who are their collectors? Who are their main patrons? Are they known patrons? Have they done shows in particular museums? Have they done any institutional custom work? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel of how to appraise an artist. We're just applying quantitative analysis to it. A lot like what this number of universities, Harvard University, universities from the European Union worked together on this for 3 years. Really, like you said, age, number of works created, volume of sales, how quickly do artworks sell, and then we also have to take into account, have they had adequate exposure? Because a lot of the times artists are restricted by geographic, location, the demographics of the people even around them, and so we believe by using the internet properly, not just posting something on a website, but we have a tremendous amount of artificial intelligence and I would say enhanced search tools so that we can match more accurately potential collectors and patrons with artists regardless of location.
So it's essentially crowdfunding for artists. It's giving them more power as well. Now, on the flip side, you've got the collectors as well.
Yes.
And that market is actually going to be broadened out because you're not going to be targeting fine art collectors who already have a huge collection at home.
Right.
It could be everyone from a high school student to someone working at a bank, anyone.
Yes. So a house mom with 2 babies crawling around on the floor that wants to have more exposure to the art world, to have a pathos and an ethos connection to the artist, not just going to the museum, which is incredible and we need people going to museums, but to have an actual physical connection to the artist and be vested in the artist.
Why have you focused on investing in the career of an artist? Because so far we've seen other blockchain solutions where it's trying to securitize the value of a piece of artwork.
Right.
And having one piece, and if the value of the art goes up, then you also benefit from that.
Right, right. So from a mathematical standpoint, an economical standpoint, like I was telling you, if the market has too many individual pieces of art, we're talking about, there's, like you said, there's companies out there that are saying we can securitize and fractionalize one piece of art. But to create secondary market demand for that token, to create liquidity, it would take an unbelievable amount of users. I mean, hundreds of millions of users is what we estimate to create actual liquidity, so that when you have this artist token, you can sell it and have a buyer within seconds. Like, if you were to sell Microsoft stock, it's gonna sell. You don't have to wait very long. But with these artist tokens, from our research and from our interviews, and we've been talking to some of these investors of these companies, they're struggling to find to find the next secondary buyer. And so we were very methodical in our approach and with our team to ensure that we're approaching it from an economic standpoint. How do you create a free market? How do you create, and this isn't my words, I've been told consistently here now at the WEF, this is like a stock market for artists, is really what you're doing. You're allowing people to have vested interest in their entire career for the life of their work.
Doesn't this turn the art world too transaction-driven?
I would say it's more social-driven now. Because if you are telling individuals that you can be a participant and patronize an artist from a social aspect, so that it's disruptive.
Okay, but there are some artists out there, they don't want people to be investing in them as if they were just another commodity. They want to sell their art the traditional way and have collectors being invested in their work.
Yes, so...
And not just maybe a teenager who doesn't understand or followed their career trajectory.
So we want, but this is what the market is telling us. We've interviewed, I mean, countless potential young people from every demographic: high net worth, ultra high net worth, college student, right out of college, doctor, lawyer, and they're telling us that we want to, but we don't feel we have access. We don't feel like we have the ability to learn what the art market tells us to learn. There's specific vocabulary that they feel is necessary.
In this process of getting your company up, you've obviously had to reach out to many artists to try to get them on board. What has been the main criticism or concern from those who don't want to be part of this?
Honestly, from the only artist that I can honestly say I've never had an artist tell me no. There are a small handful of artists that are obviously the more established artists. That we've talked to some world famous ones, and from those ones, it's more of a wait and see. They like the idea of it, but they want to kind of see it take growth. The roots, everything's there, it's all planted, it's starting to sprout. They want to see a little bit more development, because they're concerned about their
waters more and see if it could be a successful route for them.
Yes, yeah, but I can honestly say I've never had an artist tell me no.
So what if I'm an investor and I'm, say, an entry-level investor, and I don't really understand the market, and someone says, okay, maybe this artist would be good. Aren't there situations where you could find yourself investing in a career that just goes into the dumps? Right,
so that's where the accountability comes in. So we have, of course, artists always have their freedom to create what they want, what they feel, and that's what a real artist is they create what they feel. So we don't tell them what to do, but we do hold them responsible and accountable for creating new collections. So if we've raised money for them, then we have expectations that they have to outline. So like what you're saying, if their style changes and the collector doesn't necessarily want to promote this or invest in this anymore, we would advise them to, sell it. Just like you would if you were investing in a stock and the ethos of the company changed. Say all of a sudden they started making a a different kind of drug it was a pharmaceutical and you don't like this, you sell it, you exit, just like any other investment.
But would an artist feel tied or restricted by trying to please the investors who have invested what they believed that style was?
That's a brilliant question. Very good question. I would say no.
But if you've got thousands of people
Right.
that believe in your work,
Right.
and then you think, one day I just want to try watercolor instead, then what happens?
They absolutely have that freedom, and that's a risk that the patron is going to have to know and understand. This is you're investing in an artist. It's not like a traditional stock or a bond. That's just a risk, I guess, they're going to have to take. Because when you believe in an artist, from the collectors and patrons that I've met and museum docents, it's more than about money when it comes to art. And that's definitely, I would say that's definitely a risk they'll have to just take.
Okay, to wrap up, we are in Switzerland, so I'd love to get your take. What are ATO Gallery's plans in Switzerland for this year?
So we are just now finalizing a new round that we've raised from a Swiss art collector, and we're planning to do a launch event in Switzerland in at least 2 cities here, possibly Zurich, beautiful art city, and Geneva. We'll have a launch event. We'll invite artists, we'll invite galleries, gallery owners, artists, and of course the community to engage them. We have a number of over a dozen pop-up launch parties where we're exposing artists and exposing people and teaching them about the technology in a fun, engaging way all around the world this year. So
there'll be a greater presence in 2019.
We probably will do our first event here in Switzerland thanks to our investors.
Great, Carrie. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.